got a law degree, a master's, and 2 bachelors. Probably more education than all of y'all added up together at this table, right? And I have always been the least paid person on payroll at every institution I have worked in.
How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about CNN contributor Allison saying that she's always been the least paid person on payroll wherever she's gone, despite all of her degrees, despite her accolades, despite her skill, I suppose. She's always been the least paid person. Now, I presume the reason why she was not paid as much, at least the reason she believes she was not paid as much, is because she's a black woman. Now, this woman has worked in the Obama White House and also the Biden White House. So are you telling me that the black man, Mr. Black Jesus, paid you the least amount out of everybody? And are you saying Joe Biden did the same thing? Is that what we're going to say? Not the guy with the so-called black female vice president who's really from the Indian subcontinent. Not him. Not Black Jesus himself. Say it ain't so. And there's a lot more I want to ask. There's a lot of questions I have. And before I go any further, let's get to an earlier clip from that same show. This is going to be Carrie Champion. And of course, this is on CNN. And the show is Abby Phillips. Abby Phillip, black woman. Carrie Champion, black woman. Ashley Allison, black woman. But somehow we got racism. Okie dokie. Let's watch this. Then we're going to get to the next one. And of course, both videos will be in the box, but without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
It's about making sure that there is white supremacy in this country. And if we're honest, we will say that. It is about.
So I guess that's what Trump's trying to do. I guess that's what she thinks Trump's trying to do, is bring white supremacy into this country. Okie dokie.
With due respect,
we will make sure that people who DEI is really all these code words. You used to use woke. I asked you to define what woke meant. You couldn't really define it for me. Tell me what it means again.
Woke ideology is taking extreme views of American culture and trying to tear down America from the inside out and go outside of our cultural norms.
Let him finish. You asked him for a definition. You want to cut him off. Keep your mouth shut for a second, Miss Champion, and let the man talk.
And invade every corporation, university, and other institutions.
What is DEI?
That's incorrect.
Tell me that's incorrect. But what is DEI?
How are you going to ask him for a definition and then say he's wrong? Okay, then where is the correct definition? Are we going to cite Merriam-Webster? Are we going to cite Carrie Champion? Who are we going to cite?
Tell me again.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion, and trying to guarantee outcomes instead of guarantee opportunity.
Trump's cabinet looks like DEI.
I was speaking. If I could just finish.
Want us to.
DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, that's all about getting so-called minority people, and that doesn't mean black, for all those who don't understand that. If you don't understand by now, 2025, the word minority does not mean black. Can I say one more time for those in the back who didn't hear me? 2025, this year, 2025, the word diversity does not mean black.
They do have an opportunity, but we're treated to sort of similar comments to what Carrie made tonight about race, white supremacy, all of Trump's ideology and people and voters and everything. It's all about white supremacy. This was rejected in the election.
It most certainly was. It was most certainly rejected in the election. The people have spoken. 5 million more votes in the popular vote we got than Kamala Harris. And of course, we got all the swing states. It was a pretty convincing victory. ABL, she only had 100 days. Do you think Joe Biden would have done any better? Do you think if she had the full time to run a campaign, would it have been any better? I think not. They spent $1.5 billion and still got stomped into wine.
Democrats ran this was the animating thing of the Harris campaign, and it was rejected.
Okay.
Was it?
And I am constantly shocked at what you're not aware of, which is Donald Trump's performance.
I'm constantly shocked at what you're not aware
Wait,
of.
I don't know. I tend to be more right about it than you are. But the reality is, he did better. He did better among minority voters than any Republican in a half a century.
Yeah,
he seemed to be totally unaware of it.
But it's also true.
But if you're going to come out and call half the country a white supremacist, I think you've got to explain it.
I didn't say the.
Why did so many minorities come out and vote for the so-called white supremacists? That doesn't make any sense. That makes no sense at all.
I said this was
Sure
about white supremacy because what he ran on was making America great again, which is another code word. You like to say woke.
But you're saying the election was about white.
So Carrie Champion is of the mind that if you're talking about make America great again and DEI and woke, that you just hate black people. So if you want things that are anti those things, you are anti-black, which again, diversity in 2025 does not mean black.
Saying it was I'm saying Alyssa, what Trump was about was making sure he is making sure that he stays back. It's not.
All right, let's get to the next one. Let's get to Ashley Allison. Now, I've spoken to Ashley before on the Hardly Initiated podcast. You were a good champ to go appear on the podcast and have a debate with myself and Melanie King, and your cohort was the guy D1, the rapper, a Christian rapper who is a proponent of abortion. Make that make sense. Now, let's hear from her about how she's always the least paid person wherever she goes, even the Barack Obama White House. Check it out.
I do not have the same opportunity as you. I know I don't.
And you know
and
that
I know
too.
what Scott.
I got it. And you know that.
Let me just tell you about me.
I'm gonna let you finish, but I want to answer this.
I'm not talking about how you feel. I'm talking about how I feel. Me, a black woman in this country.
But not in this city.
And I will run. And if you want
me to, I'm a New Yorker, not in this city. You cannot say that. You can't say that in this city. I'm
not talking about New York. I'm talking about Ashley.
Let her finish.
I got a law degree, a master's, and 2 bachelors. Probably more education than all y'all added up together at this table, right? And I have always been the least paid person on payroll at every institution I have worked in. And it's not because...
Even in the White House?
Even in the White House.
Well, whose fault is that? I don't think you worked for George W. or Trump.
Well, guess wasn't what happened when I was there? DEI.
Okay, I don't really understand. I don't get it. Hey, Scott, I'm on your side, boss. I don't understand.
Scott.
Look.
I do not have.
Now, okay, there's so much I want to say. This whole victim narrative, I don't have your same opportunity. I'm always paid the least. It's just a bunch of BS because, look, if you're able to get a job at these places and you're able to accept the lowest pay, why don't the higher-ups, the bosses, just hire a bunch of Ashley Allisons and pay them, let's say, for a round example, 20% less than everybody else? I don't know what she got paid. I don't know if she's even telling the truth right here. But if she's truthful, if she's honest, if she can prove that she was the least paid person and she did her job well as everybody else, why wouldn't her employers hire a bunch of her? Because at the end of the day, I'm trying to make money here. We're trying to make money. All right, so let's just hire her friends and her and pay them 20% less. We save that on payroll. Payroll is many times, most often, a company's largest expense is the people who work there. You could cut payroll, you're able to make more money. Look, I'm going to just say this as I close. I think this whole thing about, I don't have the same opportunities and they pay me less, I think it's overblown. There are a lot of other things that go into it. Do you fit into the culture of the workplace? Do you fit in? Because if you don't fit in, do whatever you want to do, acting the fool, carrying on, you may have the degrees, you may have the qualification, you may have the education, but you don't get along with anybody. Nobody likes you. You don't like anybody. You don't say anything. You're just not a good fit for the company culture. And that's not a color thing. It could be in your mind because you see whites behave in one kind of way and you don't. Well, what are you going to do? You want to be over there with them? You got to be over there with them. You want to be in this kind of field? Well, that's what the field calls for. Now, if you want to do whatever you want, do what you're doing right now. Be independent. Be on the internet like me. Do something else in this country. I never had an issue with making money here. I know that the corporate workplace is not for me because I know how I am. Look, black people are scared of me sometimes. Even back when I was a kid, black folks would be scared of me. I'm 6'3" and I'm 15 years old and I'm dark skinned. They're thinking I'm going to pull out my gun and rob them. Back in my white t-shirt and Timberland boots days, I look like I'm about to just rob you. That's how I looked. And then when I go to the workplace trying to get a job, I put on the suit, I look the same way, but I got a suit on. How do I fit in this workplace? I'm going to tell you one story, then I'm wrapping on up, put the bow on top. I'm 21, 22 years old. I'm fresh out of college. I'm trying to find a corporate job, like an office job, right? And I have an interview I go into the office. It's an individual office in the middle of the entire office with glass all around it. That's where I have the interview. Now, the guy interviewing me, white guy, probably about 5'8", 5'9". I'm big. I'm like 6'3", 250 at the time, 260. I'm looking like I play football and I also sell dope. The employees were all black women. All eyes in the whole place were on me. I could tell he's going to be offended at my presence or intimidated by my presence. I know off the rip, it's not going to work. Is it because I'm black? Is it because he's a racist? Or is it because he's insecure? I could be a white guy. It would be the same thing. The corporate workspace is not for everybody, and everything can't be blamed on race. You're dealing with human beings, and sometimes you don't get along. And if you don't negotiate a better salary for you, then that must mean you're not as valuable as you think, despite all your degrees and everything else. And I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your opinion about what Carrie Champion and Allison said on CNN, on Abby Phillips' show? You think that they're right, that they're wrong, somewhere in between? You want to add more information to it? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. It's just a bunch of crying and complaining, man. At the end of the day, you got to get in where you fit in. You got to get better skills. You got to just become better at whatever it is. Okay. Being able to fit into a certain work environment. You just got to be able to do it. Okay. You want to work on the oil rig and you kind of a little light in the loafers. Maybe it'll work. Maybe it won't work. If you kind of got that thing going on, but you're still a masculine person, you're still able to make things happen, then you good. But if you don't, then you're not going to be a good fit. Is it because you're LGBT? No, it's because you're not able to be rough and tough in an environment that calls for you to be rough and tough. It's just as simple as that. And Allison, Abby Phillip, all the rest of them, that's what they don't quite understand from what I'm able to see. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that is all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.